And so all I'm doing is informing people that you only get one chance every 8 years to do this.
Tonight, News Channel 5 investigates a confidential plan to go after 3 members of Tennessee's highest court. That plan was put together by Lieutenant Governor Ron Ramsey's office to convince big business to put up potentially millions of dollars to oust 3 sitting justices.
It would be the first time it's ever happened on such a large scale in Tennessee. Even some Republicans now fear that it's going too far. News Channel 5 Chief Investigative Reporter Phil Williams has the plan at the center of this controversy.
And this is the plan, and ironically, it targets 3 justices who, according to a commission that the Lieutenant Governor himself helped appoint, are good qualified justices who should be retained.
The Supreme Court of the state of Tennessee is now in session.
It's Tennessee's highest court.
We ask our Supreme Court to do one thing, and that's to follow the law.
5 justices whose one and only job is to do justice.
We don't want them to be biased, way to the right, biased, way to the left.
In August, the 3 Democratic appointees on the court face a yes-no vote on whether they should be retained, and Lieutenant Governor Ron Ramsey fears they may not be as friendly to business as he would like.
And we came up with this PowerPoint to be able to show the business leaders where we are.
In this strategy document provided to News Channel 5 Investigates, Ramsey lays out potential points of attack on the 3 justices, portraying them as soft on crime and anti-business. It's a message that Ramsey's taken to people in the business community who could raise millions of dollars for a campaign to oust the 3 judges.
Kind of laid out facts for them, what some of the cases they've overturned, some of the decisions that they've made, and encourage them to not sit on the sidelines.
This is an attack, an unwarranted and unjustified attack on the independence of the judiciary.
Lou Connor is a prominent Republican lawyer and former appeals court judge who fears that Ramsey's plan opens a Pandora's box where out-of-state groups, potentially including the billionaire Koch brothers, could be dropping millions of dollars in Tennessee to influence a system of electing judges that was designed to be nonpartisan.
And unfortunately, guess where the money comes from?
Where?
A, lawyers on one side or the other, or from special interest groups who will spend huge sums of money in order to make sure that a judge who favors one view or the other is selected.
Does that lend credence to the notion that big business is trying to buy the Supreme Court?
No, I don't want to buy it, but I want them to be involved.
The Lieutenant Governor admits a big chunk of money may come from the Republican Attorneys General Association, which gets its funding from big corporations. That's because the Supreme Court appoints Tennessee's Attorney General.
So this is an opportunity for a group like that wants to have Republican, pro-business, anti-crime Attorney General to elect them in a relatively cheap way.
In fact, Ramsey's document faults the court for appointing current Attorney General Bob Cooper, labeling him a, quote, enemy of job creators, and faulting him for entering into national settlements that cost corporations billions of dollars. Included the settlement with Toyota, which got into trouble for producing vehicles prone to unintended accelerations.
There's no doubt that corporations are job creators. They are. Nobody can argue that.
But what was wrong with that settlement?
I couldn't tell you exactly on that. I couldn't. I really couldn't. But I do believe that what we're trying to establish that we won't join in what I would call the Obamacare and things like that, but it doesn't hesitate to join in if you're suing a business.
But our investigation discovered that many of the Republican attorneys general who want to shake up Tennessee's court entered into those very same settlements. Are you saying that they are enemies of job creators?
Well, let's say I wouldn't say that exactly. Again, we were talking.
But that's what you're accusing Attorney General Cooper.
Well, on those particular ones, and some of them, they were.
If he had not joined these settlements, the money would not have come into the state of Tennessee coffers, which again allows government not to go elsewhere to get those dollars.
Ramsey's presentation also outlines a number of cases where the state Supreme Court itself has ruled against some of Tennessee's biggest corporations, and it warns that so-called tort reform passed last year by the legislature to limit jury verdicts could be overturned if those 3 justices are allowed to keep their seats.
Don't go out here and tell me that this is a nonpartisan group and that there's never been politics involved. There's always been politics involved.
Are these 3 justices political?
No, absolutely not.
But Luke Connor says he fears that the plan drawn up by his fellow Republican could haunt Tennessee's justice system for years to come.
So you're afraid of a Supreme Court for sale to the highest bidder?
You bet I am.
Now, if Republicans are successful in convincing voters to kick out any of the three justices, the governor would appoint their replacements. And all it would take is one of those seats to give Republicans a majority, which probably would lead to a Republican attorney general. And frankly, getting an attorney general who thinks more like Republican leaders is probably the lieutenant governor's main motivation.
All right, Phil, very fascinating stuff. We do want to let you know that Ron Ramsey sat down for a long interview with Phil. We're putting that entire conversation along with that PowerPoint on newschannel5.com. Then tomorrow at 6, Phil investigates some claims that the document makes about death penalty cases that may not tell the whole story.